My name is Daniel Crawford, and at 50, I'd spent 18 years building client relationships that generated $94 million annually for Blackstone and Associates. On a Wednesday morning, I caught an $8.2 million error in the CEO's niece's presentation that could have killed someone. By Monday, I was unemployed. By Friday of that week, 78 of my clients had terminated their contracts. The company lost 45% of its revenue in 5 days. And what happened during that week wasn't chaos. It was surgical precision. That Wednesday started like any other. I'd arrived at 6 a.m. to review quarterly projections for our manufacturing clients. My third cup of coffee sat cooling on the desk as I refined safety compliance numbers for accounts I'd personally grown from small contracts into multi-million-dollar partnerships. These weren't just revenue sources. They were relationships built on trust, attention to detail, and never cutting corners on worker safety. You know how some mornings you get this feeling that something's about to go wrong? Yeah, I should have listened to that voice, but I was too focused on the numbers, making sure everything was perfect for the 8:30 presentation. The boardroom filled right on schedule. Scott from Pinnacle Technologies was scrolling through his tablet in the corner, probably checking his stock portfolio like he did every morning. Lisa from Summit Financial was discussing her son's engineering internship with Jeffrey from Apex Group. These executives trusted me with budgets that could fund entire factories. I'd earned that confidence through 18 years of crisis calls, saved projects, and flawless execution on safety standards. Then Ashley Blackstone entered. 24 years old, 7 weeks into her role as Senior Strategy Director, a title created specifically for her when she appeared after graduating with her MBA. Her uncle, George Blackstone, had founded Blackstone and Associates 22 years ago, and Ashley was his brother's only daughter. She carried herself with the confidence of someone who'd never faced real consequences for mistakes. "Good morning, everyone." Her voice had that practiced enthusiasm they teach in business school. "I've made some strategic optimizations to our presentation." Strategic optimizations. Yeah, right. In my world, those words usually meant someone was about to screw something up. I opened her revised deck, and my stomach dropped like a stone. Slide 18 showed the safety compliance budget for Pinnacle's new facility expansion. The numbers were catastrophically wrong. She'd misplaced a decimal point, showing $82 million for safety equipment instead of $8.2 million. If this went through, they'd either bankrupt the project or cut safety corners that could kill workers. I stood up carefully, trying to keep my voice level. "Ashley, we need to review slide 18 before continuing." Her expression shifted from confident to defensive in about 2 seconds. I spent hours perfecting those numbers. The safety budget shows $82 million for Pinnacle's facility expansion. Our agreed figure is $8.2 million. Scott's head snapped up from his tablet. $82 million for safety equipment? That's more than our entire construction budget. It's a transcription error, I said quickly, pulling up my original deck on the screen. I have the correct figures here. Ashley's face went red. "I don't appreciate being contradicted in front of clients, Daniel." Contradicted? As if preventing a disaster that could destroy 3 years of partnership was some kind of personal attack. I opened my mouth to respond, but that's when George Blackstone appeared in the doorway. Our CEO rarely attended these meetings anymore, delegating operational work to those who actually understood it. But there he was, watching his niece's humiliation unfold. "Perhaps a brief recess," George suggested, and his tone carried that kind of dangerous calm that told you someone was about to get fired. The clients filed out, looking confused. Lisa caught my eye and mouthed, "Thank you," as she passed. They understood exactly what I'd prevented. Scott patted my shoulder on his way out. "Good catch, Daniel. That could have been a disaster." George approached as the room emptied, with Ashley hovering behind him, tears threatening to spill. You could feel the tension in the air. That was poorly handled, Daniel. I blinked. I prevented an $8.2 million miscommunication that could have compromised worker safety. You embarrassed a senior member of my team. I protected our clients' interests and their workers' lives. His smile was ice cold. Did you? Yeah, that's when it hit me. My 18 years meant nothing. The relationships I'd built meant nothing. What mattered was that I'd made his niece look incompetent in front of people who mattered. Which, of course, she was. The meeting resumed with my original numbers. Scott approved everything, but the atmosphere had changed completely. Ashley sat there stabbing her notepad with her pen like she was trying to kill it. George stayed for the entire presentation, which he never did, just sitting there like a threat hanging over all of us. After the clients left, Scott lingered. Daniel, that was close. If we'd approved those numbers. He glanced toward where George and Ashley had disappeared. Watch yourself. But I was already watching. What I didn't know was that the knife was already falling. The email would arrive at 4:47 p.m., and my 18-year career at Blackstone and Associates would be over before dinner time. Looking back, I should have seen it coming. But sometimes when you're doing the right thing, you forget that not everyone wants you to do the right thing. Sometimes they want you to shut up and let their incompetent relatives destroy everything you've built. Big mistake on their part. Stake on. The email arrived at 4:47 p.m. Subject: Mandatory HR meeting. I'd been with Blackstone for 18 years and had never received an urgent HR summon. Not once. I saved everything I was working on and backed up my client files to my personal cloud. Technically against policy, but I'd learned that policy was for people who didn't see the axe coming. Walking to HR felt surreal. Blackstone's offices occupied the 28th floor, all glass walls and modern design that cost more than most people's houses. I'd helped design these client meeting spaces back in 2011 and fought for the collaborative areas that facilitated million-dollar handshakes. Now I was walking through it all like a dead man. Diane Murphy sat behind her desk, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. George occupied the chair beside her, hands folded, expression unreadable. Ashley wasn't there. Of course not. She wouldn't dirty her hands with the execution. Daniel, please sit, Diane said, her voice carrying that HR tone, professionally sympathetic, legally airtight. I'd heard her use it on other people over the years. Never thought I'd be on the receiving end. George spoke first. We've received concerns about your management approach. My approach that's maintained 100% client retention for 18 consecutive years? That approach? Your inability to collaborate with new leadership, Diane read from her notes. Creating hostile environments for developing executives. Developing executives who nearly compromised worker safety this morning, I thought. But I kept my mouth shut. George's jaw tightened. This isn't about this morning. But we all knew it was. We're terminating your employment effective immediately, Diane continued. Security will escort you to collect your belongings. On what grounds? At-will employment. No cause required. You'll receive 4 weeks severance and benefits through month's end. 4 weeks. 18 years and they were giving me 4 weeks. And my clients? George smiled then, cold and certain. Blackstone's clients will continue receiving excellent service from our team. Right, his team. The team led by a 24-year-old who couldn't tell the difference between $8.2 million and $82 million. Security arrived. Paul, who I'd given holiday bonuses to for 8 years, looked miserable as he walked me back to my office. 18 years condensed into a cardboard box. The client whisperer mug from Scott, the small cactus from Lisa that had somehow survived fluorescent lighting for 6 years, and photos from corporate retreats where I'd built the foundation this company stood on. I looked directly at the security camera above my desk. George would review this footage later, searching for tears or breakdown or defeat. Instead, I smiled at the lens and said quietly, 5 days. Paul shifted uncomfortably. Sir? Nothing, Paul. Just thinking out loud. My phone buzzed before I reached the parking garage. Scott's name lit the screen. What the hell happened? Lisa just texted me that you're leaving. I've been terminated, effective immediately. Over this morning. That's insane. Daniel, you saved our entire project today. I appreciate that, Scott. Where are you going? Home to figure out next steps. We need to talk. Soon. Very soon. I sat in my car with the box in the passenger seat, engine running but not moving. 18 years. I'd given them 18 years, built relationships worth nearly $100 million, and saved them from countless disasters. And it ended at 4:47 p.m. on a Wednesday, because I'd done my job too well. But George had made one critical mistake. He thought the relationships belonged to Blackstone and Associates. He thought clients cared about company names and corporate letterhead. He was about to discover exactly how wrong he was. 5 days. I had 5 days to show him who really owned this business. Home felt different when you returned as an unemployed person. Same apartment, same view of downtown, but now I was outside the world I'd spent nearly 2 decades building. I poured bourbon, the good stuff, not the weeknight whiskey, and opened my personal laptop. The USB drive sat in my desk drawer, small but powerful. I'd been building this insurance policy for 3 years, never thinking I'd actually need it. Every project retrospective, every client satisfaction survey, every documented success. More importantly, every conversation where clients had asked hypothetically about my future plans. Would you ever go independent, Daniel? If you started your own firm, I'd want to know. What would it take to work with you directly? I'd deflected those questions professionally, but I'd remembered every single one. And there were a lot of them. My phone rang around 9 p.m. Gary Walsh, former corporate attorney, current client, and someone who understood the space between legal and lethal. Heard you had an interesting day? News travels fast in this business. Lisa called me, then Scott, then about 12 other people. The entire executive network is buzzing. You've got everyone's attention. And I need legal advice. Figured you might. Coffee tomorrow morning. The place on Madison Avenue. Make it 7 a.m. I spent the night organizing everything. Client contracts, renewal dates, pain points, and relationship histories. The business plan I'd been unconsciously developing for years took shape in spreadsheets and strategy documents. Blackstone had taught me everything about running a consultancy. Now I'd use that knowledge to build something better. At 2 a.m., I finally closed my laptop, but my mind was still racing. My father's words from our last conversation kept echoing. The cancer's spreading, Danny. Insurance is covering most of it, but... He'd trailed off, too proud to ask for help, but too scared to face it alone. The treatment was costing $15,000 a month. With my termination, we'd lose the company insurance in 30 days. Dad needed that treatment, and I'd just lost the job that paid for it. But maybe that was just another reason to make sure George's mistake cost him everything. Tomorrow, I'd either launch my career or destroy any future I had in this industry. But lying there in bed, I kept seeing George's cold smile, that absolute certainty that he'd won, that I was just another disposable employee who'd stepped out of line. He had no idea what he'd started, and in about 6 hours, the real game would begin. Day 1 began with purpose. I met Gary at 6:55 a.m. at our usual spot on Madison Avenue. He'd already ordered coffee and brought an annotated copy of my non-compete agreement. The man was thorough. I'll give him that. Section 7, subsection B, he said, highlighting text with his yellow marker. You cannot directly solicit Blackstone clients for 12 months. Cannot approach them with competing offers. Cannot encourage them to breach contracts. I know what it says. Here's what it doesn't say. He flipped pages, pointing to different sections. Doesn't prevent you from announcing your availability. Doesn't stop clients from reaching out to you. Doesn't prohibit you from existing in the same industry. And critically, it says nothing about clients who independently choose to leave. So if they're dissatisfied with their new account manager, that's their business decision. You can't create the dissatisfaction, but if it already exists? He shrugged and took a sip of his coffee. Market forces, my friend. Market forces. By 9 a.m., I'd posted my LinkedIn announcement, carefully worded, after 18 incredible years at Blackstone and Associates, I'm exploring new opportunities, grateful for the relationships built and trust earned. While I consider next steps, I remain passionate about strategic consulting and client success. Neutral, professional, but loaded with subtext for anyone who could read between the lines. Which, in this business, was pretty much everyone. My phone started buzzing within minutes. Text messages, LinkedIn notifications, and emails to my personal account. I waited for the names that mattered. Lisa from Summit Financial. Saw your update. Can we talk? Scott from Pinnacle. What happened? Call me. Jeffrey from Apex. Free for lunch today? I responded with careful neutrality. Appreciate you reaching out, taking time to evaluate options, but always happy to connect. By 10 a.m., I'd found a co-working space downtown. Professional address, conference access, and most importantly, no view of Blackstone's building. The manager, a sharp woman in her 30s, recognized my name from LinkedIn. We'd be honored to have you here, Mr. Crawford. When would you like to start? Today, if possible. Consider it done. I also made 2 important calls. First was to Rachel Martinez, a brilliant analyst who'd left Blackstone after George passed her over for promotion, despite her being the best numbers person I'd ever worked with. Rachel had that rare combination of analytical skills and client instincts that you can't teach. Daniel? I heard about yesterday. That's insane. It gets worse. But I might have an opportunity. You interested in hearing about it? Are you building something? Maybe. Very maybe. I've been waiting for you to break free for years. When do we talk? The second call was to Jason Rivera, a designer whose work had won industry awards while Blackstone executives took credit. Jason had quit 6 months ago to freelance, but I knew he was looking for the right opportunity. You're really doing this? Jason said when I explained the situation. Starting your own firm? Thinking about it. Need people I trust. Count me in. When do we start? By noon, my phone was pinging constantly with client responses. And here's the thing about Ashley's transition meetings that were happening all morning. They were going about as well as you'd expect. Patricia from Industrial Solutions texted. She asked if we wanted to pivot to influencer marketing. We manufacture steel beams. Our customers are 55-year-old engineers. Roy from Northern Logistics called. She suggested TikTok for our B2B shipping operation. TikTok, Daniel. I'm 62 years old. But the message that made me close my temporary office door was from Scott. Emergency. Ashley forgot to submit our contract renewal. It was due yesterday. We're technically out of contract. Please tell me you have a copy. I had a copy. Of course I did. I had copies of everything. The question was what to do with it. I called Gary. Hypothetically, if a former client reached out because their new manager dropped a critical deadline, legally, you have no duty to help fix their mistakes. And if that client asked about alternative arrangements, they're making an independent business decision based on service quality concerns. I texted Scott back. I have the documentation. Happy to discuss over coffee. We met at 2 p.m. at a quiet cafe 6 blocks from Blackstone's building. Scott looked exhausted, tie loosened, hair slightly messed up like he'd been running his hands through it. She didn't even know the renewal was due. George is in damage control mode, but legally we're free agents right now. I slid a folder across the table. Every term, every addendum, every revision from the past 3 years. Scott exhaled slowly as he flipped through it. You're saving my ass again. That's what partners do. He looked up sharply. Partners? Figure of speech. Although I am exploring new approaches. More personalized attention, the kind that ensures contracts don't accidentally expire. Daniel, I'm not soliciting anything, Scott. Just having coffee with a friend who's in transition. We talked for another hour. Not about contracts or terms, just two professionals discussing the industry, the challenges of finding reliable partners, and the importance of attention to detail. The subtext was practically shouting. Meanwhile, back at my temporary office, Rachel had compiled a competitive analysis of our potential market positioning, and Jason was sketching logo concepts. We weren't a company yet, but we were definitely thinking like one. How many? Rachel asked as I reviewed her market research. How many what? How many clients are unhappy enough to leave Blackstone? I looked at my phone, at the steady stream of messages from executives who'd endured Ashley's strategic optimizations all day. More than George thinks. Less than we need to be profitable. But it's only day one. That evening, I sent careful follow-ups to the most promising contacts. Thank you for your kind words yesterday. Excited about future possibilities for continued collaboration with like-minded partners. The responses came fast. Michelle Torres from Cascade Manufacturing replied immediately. Let's definitely discuss those possibilities soon. By 10 p.m., I had 47 stars next to client names on my spreadsheet. 47 companies that had expressed various levels of dissatisfaction, interest, or eagerness to explore alternatives. Day 2 would be when possibilities started becoming commitments. And George Blackstone was about to learn that 18 years of relationship building couldn't be replaced by a 7-week MBA graduate, no matter whose niece she was. Day 2 brought the real momentum. I'd scheduled 8 video calls with clients who'd reached out most urgently. Not solicitation, just responding to their requests for consultation during what they called transition periods. First call at 9 a.m. was with Michelle Torres from Cascade Manufacturing. She didn't waste time with small talk. We're terminating Blackstone. Ashley sent our confidential expansion plans to our competitor by mistake. Confused us with another company entirely. I kept my expression neutral. I'm sorry to hear about these challenges. Don't be sorry. Be available. We need someone who actually knows our business, our safety requirements, and our customers. Someone who's proven themselves over years, not weeks. Michelle, I have contractual restrictions, which prevent you from soliciting us. My lawyers reviewed your non-compete yesterday. But if we terminate Blackstone and independently choose a new consultant who happens to be the best in the business, that's our decision. 1 down. The calls kept coming. By lunch, I had 18 verbal commitments to explore alternatives as soon as legally possible. Combined with yesterday's responses, that was 34 major accounts ready to move. But the afternoon brought the surprise that changed everything. An email blast went out to all Blackstone clients. Exciting leadership announcement. Ashley Blackstone promoted to Executive Vice President of Client Relations. They'd promoted her. After 3 days of disasters, they'd actually promoted her to Executive Vice President. It's pure panic, Rachel said when I showed her the announcement. They're hemorrhaging clients and doubling down on nepotism. My phone exploded. Clients who'd been sitting on the fence were pushed over the edge by this final insult. Joyce from Crimson Industries called within minutes. "Executive VP?" She asked if we wanted to rebrand our industrial equipment line for millennials. "We make mining equipment, Daniel. It weighs 40 tons. The star count on my spreadsheet climbed: 52, 61, 69, 74. By 6 p.m., I had 78 stars. 78 clients ready to follow me wherever I went next. Day 3 was when everything came together. Gary had expedited the legal paperwork. Rachel and Jason had found us proper office space, and the clients were practically lining up. But first, George called. His voice was controlled when my phone rang at 8 a.m., but I could hear the cracks underneath. "We should talk." "We have nothing to discuss, George. You orchestrated this. Deliberately sabotaged our client relationships. I've done nothing but exist. If your clients choose people who value them, that's what we call market dynamics." "We'll sue. Non-compete violation. Tortious interference. Go ahead. Sue me for responding when clients reached out. See how that plays in court and in the business press. I'm sure your board would love the publicity." Long silence. Then, "What do you want?" There it was. The moment when power shifted completely. "I don't want anything from you, George. I already have everything I need. Integrity, expertise, and the trust of people who actually matter. The board is demanding answers. Ashley is—" He stopped himself. "Ashley is what? Overwhelmed? Underqualified? Finally exposed as completely incompetent? She's family. And they were my clients. You made your choice." Another silence. "If you'd consider a consulting arrangement to help with the transition." I actually laughed. "You fired me for doing my job correctly. Now you want me to fix your mess? My price for that would be watching you explain to your board how nepotism cost them 45% of their revenue in 1 week. This isn't over. You're right, George. It's just beginning." By day's end, 78 clients had formally submitted termination notices to Blackstone. The industry publications picked up the story by evening. The Blackstone collapse: how nepotism destroyed 18 years of growth in 5 days. Ashley's promotion got mentioned in paragraph 3. Her resignation to pursue other opportunities was buried in paragraph 12. She'd lasted exactly 11 hours as executive VP. That evening, I raised a bourbon with Rachel and Jason in our new office space. To new beginnings and the 78 clients who chose relationships over corporate politics. "What happens to Blackstone now?" Jason asked. I thought about George, probably still in emergency board meetings, trying to explain how this all went wrong. "Blackstone will survive. Smaller, weaker, but they'll rebuild. It'll take them years to recover what they lost in 5 days. All because they fired the wrong person?" "No," I said, "because they never understood that business is built on trust. Every contract, every campaign, every relationship, it's personal. And you can't replace 18 years of trust with a fancy title and a family connection." 6 weeks later, I signed incorporation papers for Crawford Strategic Partners. We'd secured real office space, grown to 22 employees, and our first-year revenue projections hit $12 million. Before the ink was dry, Jason showed me his phone. George's LinkedIn update. "After 19 years of leadership, I'm stepping down as CEO of Blackstone & Associates to pursue new opportunities." The board had forced him out. The comments on his post told the real story: the safety violations, the client exodus, the nepotism scandal that made industry headlines. His carefully worded voluntary departure fooled nobody. I signed the papers with my father's fountain pen, the one he'd given me when I graduated business school. "For the important documents," he'd said. My phone buzzed with a text from Dad. "New treatment's working great. Doctor says I'm responding better than expected. Proud of you, son. Your mother would be too." For the first time in weeks, I felt emotion threatening to break through. Success was sweet, but having him healthy enough to see it meant everything. Michelle Torres arrived for our noon meeting, now our biggest client. Did you see Blackstone's latest quarterly report? Down 52% year over year. Let's focus forward. We've got your safety compliance expansion to plan. She smiled. You know what you told me 8 years ago when we first started working together? Never compromise on knowing exactly who you serve. Still the best business advice I ever got. As she left, she paused at the door. The difference between you and them? You never saw us as accounts to manage. You saw us as businesses to grow. That's why all 78 of us followed you out the door. Later that afternoon, I got an unexpected visitor. Ashley Blackstone stood in our reception area, looking younger than her 24 years. The designer suit was gone, replaced with casual clothes and genuine humility. I know I'm probably the last person you want to see. I could have turned her away. Instead, I gestured to my office. I wanted to apologize. I was completely in over my head, and my ego made everything worse. Uncle George promised I'd learn on the job, but I realize now I was replacing people who'd earned their positions through years of hard work. Why are you here, Ashley? Because I want to learn the right way this time. Not through family connections, but by actually understanding the business. I'm not asking for a job. I know that's impossible. But maybe advice? Mentorship? I'll pay for your time. I studied her for a moment. She seemed genuine, but I'd underestimated her family before. One coffee. We'll see if you're serious about learning or just looking for another shortcut. That evening, I stood at my new office window, looking out at the city. 20 years ago, I'd stood at a similar window in someone else's building, dreaming about what I could accomplish with the right support and freedom. George Blackstone thought he was removing a problem employee. Instead, he'd created a competitor who understood his business better than he did, knew every client's needs and aspirations, and had spent 18 years building relationships he never knew existed. Sometimes the person you fire on Wednesday becomes your biggest threat by Monday. 5 days, 78 clients, one man who refused to let nepotism define his worth. That's not revenge. That's what happens when competence meets opportunity and experience trumps entitlement. My father always said the best victories are the ones where you win by being better, not by tearing others down. He was right. I didn't destroy George's company. I just gave his clients a better option. The destruction was entirely self-inflicted. 5 days. That's all it took to prove that in business, relationships beat politics, trust beats titles, and 18 years of excellence beats 7 weeks of family connections. Every single time. Here's what I learned. You can't inherit respect, and you can't buy loyalty. Both have to be earned one conversation, one crisis, one honest decision at a time. And once you've built that foundation over decades, no boardroom politics or family connection can take it away from you.